Machinima sports fans, I am chilling with Mr. CM Punk. How are you, sir?
I'm good. We're chilling.
Oh, that's all I do, man. Look, I got a question for you, man. I was doing a little reading.
I hope so. That's the whole point of this interview. You're having questions.
As you can see, I'm becoming a tattoo guy. You're laced with a couple nice sleeves, but I hear you got a. This is the grandparents.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm big on family, so I got family on this side with my grandparents that passed. But you, sir, have a Pepsi logo?
I do.
How did that come about?
Okay, long story short, I'm straight edge. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. The band Minor Threat, the band that started the whole straight edge thing, accidentally, of course. The guitarist's name is Brian Baker. Ironically enough, now, 30 years later, a friend of mine. He had a Coca-Cola tattoo on his arm, and I remember being in detention reading like an old Maximum Rock and Roll about, a Minor Threat interview, and the interviewer said, "Why do you have a Coca-Cola tattoo?" And Brian Baker said, "I like Coca-Cola." And I just thought that was the most gangster, 8th grade or freshman year in high school. I just thought that was the most gangster thing ever. It's just like, and to me, tattoos are very subjective, like I could be like, oh God, that's such a horrible tattoo, but it's your grandparents, and that means a lot to you. So no matter how many people think the Pepsi logo is stupid, it means a lot to me. It represents me being drug-free. So, I also have pancakes tattooed on my arm. So, I'm so far gone.
So let's talk WWE 12. Tell me, what's your first impressions of the game?
My first impressions of the game, and I'm not a big video game guy, is that this game's awesome. It could use a better cover.
Any suggestions?
But no, it seems a lot more like playable. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm a button masher, and some of the past games they were kind of hard. That you had to hit button combinations and stuff like that. This one seems a little bit more easier to play. The graphics have always been amazing in these games. This year, it's creepy how accurate it is. They got all my tattoos right, and it's just like the spitting image of me in video game form is pretty cool to see.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So you're definitely pretty happy with your character in there.
Yeah, absolutely. For a guy who, I literally was out the door, and I wasn't in this game, and they threw me in it last minute. New entrants and new T-shirt and all. So there's probably a lot of video game designers out there that hate my guts because they probably had to pull some crazy overtime to get me in this game. But I appreciate it.
All right, so let's take it back to the younger days. Was there a game that really pulled you into video gaming?
I remember being really into the first Resident Evil, I think for PlayStation, and because I'm a huge horror movie guy, so seeing kind of a horror movie video game was revolutionary, and I thought that was really cool. Big Excite Bike fan here too for Nintendo. I would make these giant racetracks and figured this game's gonna be 15 minutes long, and then it would be 2 minutes, and I'd be really bummed. But I have a Wii set up at home, and I love playing Punch-Out. It's a game you can't get sick of,
I know you travel a lot with work. How much gaming do you get in on the road? Any game systems on the bus or anything?
I got an Xbox, and you think, man, you're just going to play a whole bunch of video games and watch a whole bunch of movies, but honestly, for a guy like me who doesn't sleep, it's really weird. I got my bus, and I've never slept more in my entire life. I haven't really slept in the last 3 weeks, but I also haven't been on my bus because we've been in Europe. We've been dabbling. We stopped at a Walmart when I first got my bus and got a couple of games. Got the new Mortal Kombat game, so we play that a little bit. It hasn't fully developed into a full-blown tournament or anything like that, but I expect that to very shortly.
Back to the controls, you're saying they're pretty easy to pick up. So would you say this game is kind of for the people that maybe might be new to the WWE franchise?
Oh, definitely. Before we hung our hat on Raw versus SmackDown, but that kind of really doesn't mean anything anymore. And I think that the 12 obviously represents the year, and I think it's just great, because next year is going to be 13, which is my lucky number. So maybe I'll be on the cover. I don't know. It'd be great, wouldn't it?
You know, I know a few people. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Probably won't work. You might be better off at
No,
that.
hey, I'll take all the help I can get. I need it. I need the help.
Nice. Now, the game is very intense. I mean, you can just basically create your own universe in here. Sitting down at the sticks, who would you pit yourself up against?
A question I get asked frequently: Who would I like to fight in video game form? The answer is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Really? Why so?
Because I feel in video game form that he actually has a chance. You know, like if it was real life, I mean, it's not really fair. You know, so pitting video game Punk against video game Steven, I think, gives him a fighting chance. You know, a chance that he wouldn't have in real life. You know, and I'm all about trying to even the playing field and put smiles on people's faces. I would like to make Steve smile, so give him a fighting chance.
Such a nice guy. Okay, last question. I read that you're from the Chicago area.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of wrestling fans out there, so there's a little kid watching right now that thinks he might want to get into wrestling. You got any advice for him?
I think the PG company answer would be go to school and get something to fall back on. But I don't care if you want to wrestle, or if you want to be a doctor, or if you want to be a mercenary, or if you want to play video games for the rest of your life and get paid for it. You need to find something you love and do that for a living, and go to college and get an education so you have a plan B.
Awesome. Quality advice from CM Punk, guys. Thank you very much.
Quality? I don't know if it was quality, but it was advice.